It has long been said that a lie can travel halfway around the world while the truth is still putting on its shoes. In the age of smartphones and high-speed wireless internet, imagine how fast lies can travel now. Thanks to digital photography, it's now easier than ever before to document every moment of our lives in high-resolution detail and make it available for everyone to see on the internet forever. And it's just as easy to construct narratives that go from stretching the truth to flat-out dishonesty. But does digital photography actually encourage lying, or does it just make it easier to do what people have been doing since long before computers were invented? For the purposes of this project, we chose to solicit the opinions of a few local experts in the fields of print journalism, photography, and photojournalism. This is what they had to say.
Photography is part of journalism, and journalism is about telling a story. And whether you do it with a pad and pencil or pen, or whether you do it visually, it's really all about finding a good story and then figuring out what would be the visual components of that in order to tell that story visually.
We see before we read. There you go. The photographers are the only part of this operation that actually have to be there. Anybody else can pick up the phone and say, tell me what happened. And there's an incredible amount of pressure to produce images that really grab people. I mean, there's a tremendous amount of pressure to do that. What we do is creativity on demand.
Or when we switched from film to digital, editors were like, oh, this is going to save us a lot of time. Well, it didn't really necessarily save time, it just shifted time. So instead of standing back in a dark room processing your film for half an hour and then drying it, you were sitting down at a computer for half an hour and downloading your images. And so it's kind of the same correlation between manipulating a film image or manipulating a digital image. Ever since photography's been around, whether it be film or digital, there have been photographers that have taken advantage of whatever that technology was and altering photographs. And that really comes down to the ethics of the photographer.
Digital photography doesn't do anything, it's just something that exists. Do the tools that we have allow us to lie? Certainly, yeah. And it certainly it's easier now to a pretty large degree. The tools are at the disposal of just about anybody.
A photograph has to stand on its own in the same way that words and text have to be accurate and true and honest. And a photograph has to follow those same guidelines. It has to be accurate, it has to be true, it has to be honest. And when you start making technical adjustments to it, you've created a lie. Obviously, if you're cropping out detail that is part of the story, then again, you could potentially create a lie, or at least have an image that's maybe not fully representative of the story. Great photographers have it all up here, and it starts with right here, with the eye. And you have to be able to see a great moment in order to photograph it. And you have to be able to recognize a great moment in order to photograph it. And even before that, you have to be able to anticipate that a great moment is about to happen, because if it happens and that's when you react, you've missed the picture. If you anticipate, then when it happens, you're on it and you get that picture, but you've got to be able to recognize it.
Because what makes a great photographer is knowing the right time to push the button. The software doesn't know the right time to push the button. The camera doesn't know the right time to push the button. The technology does not know the right time to push the button. And that's the moment is where that comes from.
If you go back to, who was it? Hippolyte Bayard. The first photograph that I know of that intentionally tried to mislead people was the photograph that Hippolyte Bayard took of himself. And it's supposed to be a photograph of him dead, having drowned. He wasn't dead, And then after that, you have people that were spirit photographers in their shots, and they're just double exposures, right? So the medium's always been inherently full of liars, and now it's just a matter of, you know, all that possibility's been opened up to everybody.